Mayor, we're live.
All right. Good morning. Listen to me. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 9th, 2021 meeting of the Oakland Mayor and Council. Roll call.
Mayor Schwager,
Here.
Councilman Bialy,
Here.
Councilman Kamala,
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Here.
Councilman Slasinski,
Here.
Councilman Talamini,
Here.
Councilman Van Ack.
Here.
And since it's still Zoom, no salute, but a moment of silence. And during the moment of silence, please, your good wishes to the family who was house burned yesterday on Rampo Valley Road. I spoke to the Ed Kimmel family yesterday and today. He went to the hospital for heat exhaustion. And one of the firemen from Mawa. We had help from Mawa, Wyckoff, the county, Pompton. I sent letters to the mayors, and I told the mayor of Mawa because one of the Mawa firefighters also had to be taken to the hospital. So please give your thoughts to the firefighters. Thank you. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law duly announced, submitted to the newspaper, and advertised more than 48 hours in advance of the meeting, and notice posted in the municipal building and on the borough website, and pursuant to the state guidelines for virtual meetings. And as I said, our best wishes to the Ed Kimmel family. They kept him overnight after being taken to the hospital yesterday. And speaking of residents, if everybody remembers Charlie Page, long time, excellent, outstanding Oakland resident. Well, his daughter contacted me, Debbie Page, and she wrote me an email. Hi, Linda, I hope you and your family are all well. I'll always remember how kind you were to come to my dad's drive-by at his house before his burial last year. Thank you for all you do. I surely see why he admired you. On another note, I was wondering if it is possible to fly our town flag at half-mast Saturday, June 12th, in honor of Dr. Abed. That's, if you've been living in Oakland a long time, it's Dr. David Abed, A-B-E-D, who was one of the most outstanding doctors in Oakland, where he lived for decades. He was also the doctor for the Oakland Police Department and the high school. He retired to Paris with his wife and recently passed away of COVID. He requested his ashes be flown back to Oakland, where he was so dedicated to the people and where he could be laid to rest next to his daughter, who died in Oakland at 4 years old. She is buried in a cemetery across from Dairy Queen. That must be the Pines Church Cemetery. His wife, Henriette, and family are flying from Paris, Michigan, and the Carolinas to have his service here in Oakland. In February, I posted the details of his death on Facebook, that you knew you grew up in Oakland, and also on Historical Oakland. Hundreds of people commented on what a compassionate and amazing doctor he was. He truly was a hero in our community. I just posted the details of the service on the same sites, and again, the comments are pouring in. I'm not sure if it is possible to fly the flag at half-mast, but if you can do something like that for the family, I know they would truly appreciate it, especially his wife, who was also so heartbroken. I attached this obituary for you. Thank you so much. And yes, she did. She attached the obituary. And on Saturday, from 10 to 12, at the Oakland Memorial Home, an interment will be private. In lieu of flowers, the family requests donations be made in Dr. Abed's memory to Doctors Without Borders or the American Cancer Society. And that's where the doctors go to countries such as in South America and give services, medical services for free. So at the end, later on during new business, if you feel appropriate, I know we have rules on flying the flag half-mast, but I said I would read it to the council. And speaking of flags, a reminder on Monday, June 14th, it's Flag Day. And the Flag Day ceremony will be held at the Elks Lodge at 6:00 p.m. And remember, it was the Elks that really originated the whole concept of Flag Day. Our carnival, sponsored by the Oakland Public Events Committee, is June 23rd through June 26th. And I've been told that Facebook has been abuzz about the fireworks. And who can they blame for not having the fireworks? So this is the official announcement. It was the committee's decision to cancel the fireworks this year. Many residents complained on Facebook that the governing body made the ultimate decision. No. Public events felt for the safety of everyone and for logistics. No fireworks this year. So if you have complaints, you can call the councilman, who's the liaison to public events. No names mentioned. I want to know, calling all seniors, if you are 50 years old or older, Woodbridge Township is once again hosting the New Jersey Senior Olympic Games, September 10th, 11th, and 12th. If you're interested, contact Ariel and she will have the information. Our library has many interesting and extremely informative seminars. Go to the Oakland Library website, and tomorrow, Thursday, June 10th at 7:00, they have a free webinar presented by Caregivers of New Jersey called Student Transition. Valuable information to better prepare individuals with disabilities with transition to adult life services. Topics will include Medicaid eligibility, support coordination, step-by-step process. And after we get through some of the other issues we have in town, we're going to really pursue the Access for All committee, and that will be a follow-up to this webinar. A lot happened this week. Styrofoam recycling bins. I received an email. I contacted the person who sent me the email. I contacted Alison Fleeson from the Green Team. I contacted Richard Kunz from the Borough about the bins for recycling. And we could do the styrofoam recycling. It's a very popular project. The only problem is, what do we do with it? We can't find anybody to take the recycling. And speaking of environment, the Green Team film series continues Saturday, June 19th at 8:30 p.m. Rain date Sunday, June 20th. And it's outside at the Parsons Pond Park, located at 700 Parsons Pond Drive in Franklin Lakes. Bring your blanket and chairs. And the film is Wall-E, or Wall-E, the last robot on Earth programmed to clean up the planet. You have to register in advance. Go to our website or go to the Green Team for information. And the flow area, Franklin Lakes, Oakland, and Wyckoff, will have a Zoom presentation on living safely with wildlife, meaning the bears that we see or the deer, on Wednesday, June 23rd at 7:00 p.m. And I put this on my Facebook page as an announcement, and so everybody knows that on June 10th, which is tomorrow, the New York Susquehanna Railroad will be doing repair work at their crossing in Franklin Lakes on Franklin Ave. So travel accordingly. In other words, avoid the crossing because it's going to be closed. You will not be able to cross. And another advisory is starting on June 7th through June 20th on Colfax Avenue, which is West Oakland Avenue that becomes Colfax Avenue in Pompton Lakes. They will be doing road work. So there will be delays. There will be uneven road work. And so be careful. And that is it for announcements. So at this moment, a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If you are a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please click the raise your hand icon or *9 on a mobile phone. Mayor, I see no one further.
Okay, thank you. Minutes from May 12th, 2020.
Motion to close.
Oh, sorry. Thank
Second.
you. I don't even know if I did a motion to open. Did I do a motion to open?
Yes, you did.
Remember I said, good morning? Thank you for motioning to close in the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes of May 12th, listen to me. May 12th. Everybody review the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck.
Yes.
Minutes from the executive session of May 12th, 2021. If there's going to be any discussion, it must be done during exec. A motion
So
to approve.
moved.
Second.
Will there be any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck.
Yes.
And I see that our attorney's here, Brian. Glad that you got here. You're on mute unless you want to say something.
I've been here, Mayor. I made it on
I
time
know, but I didn't recognize you before.
because I have a tie on.
That's because you had it at the meeting, right? Okay, we have a raffle license 1404. It is for the Mothers Club of Oakland. It will take place at the Oakland Rec Field on June 23rd, June 24th, June 25th, and June 26th. I assume it's in conjunction with the carnival. And it is going to be all the proceeds to benefit youth in Oakland.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is social affairs permit for the Oakland Elks Lodge. It's an application for the Oakland Elks at the banquet hall and outdoor pavilion. It will be on June 19th at 6 p.m. at 10 o'clock, and it's for the Father's Day steak dinner.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have resolutions. The first one is, I pulled out, it's resolution 21-216 because of any conflicts. And that is the renewal of a liquor license for the Borough of Oakland from the period of July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. And this is for the Knights of Columbus in Oakland. I don't know if it's called chapter or lodge. What is it, lodge?
No.
I think it's
5846. What?
5489.
Council.
5846 council. 5846. That's what it says. There a motion to approve.
So moved.
Are you in the
Oh.
ninth?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Now those of the knights are going to recuse themselves. So roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Abstain.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Abstain.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck.
Abstain.
Okay. Thank you. So now the rest will be by consent agenda unless you want to pull any out. 21-187 is to adopt the CRS information program, which is necessary for the CRS program. And you all have the program of public information packet in your packets. And the borough holds a class 7 CRS rating, which gives the residents a benefit on a 50% reduction in their flood insurance premium. And the program for public information is part of an approach to help reduce it even further. The goal is to reduce it even more, which would give the residents even a higher reduction. That's 187. 207, cancel grant balances. The balances are no longer necessary for the purpose originally created. Municipal Alliance receivable, $5,368.82. Municipal Alliance County, $5,368.82. Drunk driving enforcement receivable, $2,775.94. and Drunk Driving Enforcement Fund, $2,775.94. 208 is to authorize grant application, the COPS hiring program, and it is an application for a grant for the requested amount of $125,000. 21209 is to hire summer camp staff. The list, and you all have a copy of the list of the hirees, and that is for this summer camp effective June 28th, 2021. Now, this is licensed. You all originally had it on 210. Then we had a revised list of renewals because 2 restaurants had to be eliminated. So this is for renewal of license, of liquor license, July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. Long Hill Liquors, Treehouse Hospitality, Hansel's Bar and Grill, Sancino's Restaurant, Beviamo Inc., Portobello's, Valley Spirits, G&H Restaurant Corp., Elks Lodge, BPOE 2167, American Legion Post 369, PCJJ LLC, which is W's Grill, Ruger Restaurant, and Holiday Spirits, which is the bowling alley Holiday Bowl. 21211 is Chapter 159 Body 1 Camera Grant. We are applying for the grant, and it's been awarded as an OAGWBC grant in the amount of $52,988 for the purpose of implementing a Body 1 camera solution for the Oakland Police Department, and wishes to amend its 2021 budget to include this amount as a revenue. 21212, hiring public works laborer. We have a vacant position through a resignation, and this resolution will hire, gives power to hire Francis Leonardis as a laborer effective June 12, 2021, at an annual salary of $40,603. And 21213, hire seasonal laborers for the Department of Public Works. Annie Krukis, $13 an hour. Justin Paysor, $13 an hour. And I've been asked to announce that more summer help is needed. If you know of any students or young people looking to work in the summer, please contact DPW. 21214 is to authorize recreation refund fees to Melizia Family, 64 Cardinal Drive, $125 for Indian Hills High School rec football camp. 215, authorize application of Bulletproof Vest Grant Program, and the requested amount is $915.60. The 216 we already did separately, and 21217 is a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Oakland, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, adopting an affirmative marketing plan pertaining to low and moderate income housing for the Borough of Oakland. Does anybody wish to pull any out?
Yes, Mayor, I do.
Yes.
Resolution 21210. I'm a member of the American Legion, and they're up for liquor license renewal, just like the Knights of Columbus. So I'm gonna
Okay. So 210 is omitted from this list.
And also myself.
I was wondering. I thought that you were both members. So that's, thank you. Okay. Is there a motion for the rest?
So moved. Second.
All right. So this is a consent agenda for all of them except 21-210. Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Slusinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
And this is resolution 210, liquor license renewal for the American Legion from July 1st until June 30th. No motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Abstain.
Councilman Kamala,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Abstain?
Councilman Slasinski,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
So now we have introduction of ordinances. The first one is 21 Code 844, amend Chapter 3, Section 323, which is police regulations, section entitled Consumption by Persons Under the Legal Age on Public or Private Property. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Kamala,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes?
Councilman Slasinski,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Final hearing.
June 23rd.
The next one is 21 Code 845, authorized deferred charge. And this is providing for a special emergency appropriation of $200,000 for the preparation and execution of a reassessment program, which is required for our town.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Kamala,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes?
Councilman Slasinski,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Unfortunately, this is required by law when the assessment and the sales prices have a differential. What is the percentage, Mr. Carnes?
So for a reval, the county tax board can order any municipality to undergo a revaluation when their ratio of assessed value to true value falls below 80%.
I thank you. So it's a 20% differential.
Yep.
All right. Final hearing is,
June 23rd.
thank you. 21 Code 847, amend Chapter 3, Section 3-6, which is alcoholic beverages. And it is the code of the borough entitled Police Regulations, entitled Alcoholic Beverages.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Kamala,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes?
Councilman Slasinski,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
21 847 is police regulations entitled Smoke-Free School Zones, Underage Smoking.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Kamala,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes?
Councilman Slasinski,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
And the last one is 21 Code 848, entitled Recreation Facilities and Recreation Areas. Smoking prohibited on the recreation areas, public parks and borough piers and boat launches.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Kamala,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes?
Councilman Slasinski,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Okay, final hearing.
June 23rd for the last three
Okay.
ordinances.
Now, the next one is a final adoption of 21 Code 828, prohibit cannabis. It's been tabled. And in order to go forward, it has to be removed from the table. Just a side note, before that happens, we had, and I want to thank, we had our first meeting of the marijuana subcommittee, and I want to thank very much. We had a very extensive meeting via Zoom, very knowledgeable. I thought it was very informative. And I want to thank Steve Lyden, our borough planner, Richard Kunz, our administrator, Councilman Pignatelli, and Councilman Van Eck for attending, Mike Tolucci from the Board of Health, Mike Guadagnino from the Recreation, Matt Goodridge, First Aid, Mike Rose, who's on the Planning Board, Frank DePentima, who you all know for his knowledge on finances, and I attended. And we had a very lengthy discussion. And do you want to say anything, Councilman Van Eck or Councilman Pignatelli?
No, I do like to say that I agree with you. It was a very good meeting. I think you will admit, Mayor and someone else on the committee admitted to me that they learned something today at that meeting that they didn't know this morning. So there's still a learning curve to this legislation, and we are going to meet again and again and again and again. We scheduled one meeting already for the 16th, right, Mayor?
Next week, yeah.
Next week. So we are moving forward with it, and everyone intends to stay there until we reach our final recommendation to the council. So thank you to everyone. Everyone's time is precious, and the level of expertise that was brought to the Cannabis Committee was outstanding, and we will move forward with it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So now, is there a motion to remove from the table?
Go ahead, Pat.
No, I wanted to say, you want to say something.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say too, because we just did it today and the enthusiasm was great. The diversity of viewpoints and expertise on this committee really impressed me. It's a group of very knowledgeable individuals within their own areas that came together and had a very intelligent conversation, talked about things. There was no bickering. There was no shouting. It was a great conversation, and the world needs more of those types of meetings and those types of conversations. It was a very, very positive thing, and everyone was so excited to knowing that we do have a deadline in order to come up with a proposal for the council that we decided to just go ahead and meet again next week. And Mayor, you mentioned time is precious. I mean, these are all busy professionals and volunteers on this committee with families and other responsibilities, but they're committed to, given that 67% of Oakland voted in favor of this, that we need to really look at this and do it the right way and what's right for Oakland, for our residents. And I just thought it was a fantastic meeting, and I'm looking forward to next Wednesday. So I would hope that we would keep it on the table to give this ad hoc committee an opportunity to present something, because we are looking at things like vacant properties, the zoning map, the industrial zones, and so on and so forth, which you all know that we were there, and we'll have a comprehensive report. Yes. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
So for full disclosure, we are meeting next week. Each committee member will receive sample ordinances that we receive from other municipalities, allowing certain licenses. Everyone on the committee will receive a map of Oakland with the various zones, the industrial zone versus the residential zones, etc., where the schools are located. And also, Mr. Kunz is going to create a list for us in the zones, especially the most important list is in the industrial area, the vacancies that exist in in the industrial areas, plural.
Mayor, I thought of something, excuse me for interrupting. Sure. It might even be beneficial for us to make a site visit to those areas, just like
I said we should do. Didn't I say that we should take a road trip?
Yeah. So I think it would be beneficial for us to go take a look at them also.
Right. So as soon as we get the list from our borough administrator. So with that, is there a motion to remove from the table?
I'd like to make a motion to remove from the table the ordinance 21 code 828.
You want to vote on it tonight?
Yes.
Pat, I was under the impression, given the meeting next week, we were going to keep it on the table.
That's what you said earlier.
If I may, if there is a motion to remove it off the table and that motion passes, then you will be voting on the ordinance tonight. If you do not wish to vote on the ordinance, then you will take no action to remove it from the table. There will not be a motion. So I just wanted to clarify that in case there was a misunderstanding.
Now, do you want to remove this from the table and vote on this tonight?
Yeah, since we don't have all the information yet that we need to make I think I can't make an educated decision tonight. I'd like to go ahead and remove it from the table to protect us, so that we can choose what's right for Oakland and not be under pressure to choose the wrong thing for Oakland.
Oh,
We have
so
until August.
I guess you changed your mind since earlier.
No.
It's 5:30.
No.
All right, well, is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call. I'm removing this from the table.
Councilman Bialy,
No.
Councilman Kumala,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Slasinski,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck.
No.
All right, so now we have final adoption of the ordinance.
Well, you would
Somebody
need a
put me
public
in.
hearing on the ordinance, Mayor. I don't believe we had one, Lisa.
We actually did.
Oh, so we just suspended the vote?
Yes.
So then we had the public hearing, so if somebody wants to move the adoption of the ordinance, then it would be appropriate.
All right, move the adoption of this ordinance opposing all all licenses for marijuana in Oakland.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Explain what we're doing here, Brian. The vote for yes, creates.
A vote for yes would adopt the ordinance in its present form, which prohibits any type of cannabis license of the 6 classifications which we discussed. So the vote for yes prohibits the license. I'll just interject certain facts here. It sounded like there was some action being taken to determine whether it would be appropriate. Yeah, that could still occur, but what you have now will prohibit it now for that 5-year period.
But we can still do something a month from now or 6 months from now.
You
Are you still going
do
to attend our
something
meetings, Pat?
in
Or are you giving up?
future.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But you changed your mind, Pat, from 5:30 when you said you weren't.
Councilman Van Eck, I never said that.
That's
did.
not true. We have it on Zoom.
Good, have it on Zoom. I never said that.
You did.
You
No,
did.
you did, but I
No,
didn't.
you said
I thought you
Specifically
said
asked you,
it would be
and you
good to
did.
carry on the conversation.
yes,
to
and we
allow
still had
more
another
time.
meeting because we're
We
meeting
have a
next.
meeting we have a meeting next Wednesday.
But we could, so at the next meeting, even if we ban everything, at the next meeting, when you guys come back with recommendations, we can adjust our position.
Yes.
But that wasn't the point. The
What's the
point
point
was
of
an
banning
hour ago.
But what's the point of banning everything if we have until August to do that? What's the rush to do it tonight if we had a
Exactly.
meeting today and a meeting next Wednesday?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's
No
why we
sense.
set the meeting next week.
That's why we're
That was the
rushing to
whole
have this
point.
meeting in 1 week. So we have time to all do our homework, do our research, come together as a group of diverse individuals with diverse viewpoints on this. Pat knows, you just said it, and present something to the council. What's the rush to do it tonight? I don't understand.
The rush is we don't have all the information.
But you didn't say that earlier.
The Cannabis Commission has not passed one rule or one regulation yet, which will determine everything about cannabis. So why are we
Pat,
rushing?
what we're saying is that an hour ago,
No.
that we don't know what happened. Well,
No.
we know what happened. All right, roll call.
If you leave it on the table, then you still have that opportunity.
And we still have until August to, if you wanted
Yeah.
to do a complete ban, we still have until August to do that. Why rush and do it tonight? We had the meeting today. We have another meeting next Wednesday. Ridiculous.
I feel safer banning everything and then opening it up to what we want to. If we leave it open right now, then someone could come in and do something and then we won't be able to eliminate it because they'll be grandfathered in.
That's not the point.
And-
Russ.
Not true at all.
That's not the point, Russ. We left the meeting.
But
That's not how we left the meeting today. And that's why we were wondering what happened in an hour. With that, roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
No.
Councilman Kumala,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes?
Councilman Slasinski,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
yes,
Councilman Van Eck.
No.
So we now have an ordinance that prohibits all marijuana licenses in Oakland. And
Until we
hopefully,
decide what's the best one to pass for us, yes. I'm committed to passing something that's the most beneficial for Oakland.
you want to wait 6
enough
months.
information right now. The state hasn't published anything. We haven't published it. Nothing has been published.
But the point
guiding
is,
us.
you did
Nothing's
not
been
say
published
this
to guide us.
an hour ago. That's the point we're making. And speaking of,
Mayor, obviously something happened between our meeting and just now.
and just for full disclosure, because I think it's very important that the whole world knows, since some people seem to know. Someone anonymously, they didn't even have the guts to give them their name. Oprah, does everybody know what an Oprah is? An Oprah request? They wanted all my emails since January and my text with any email or text having to do with marijuana, cannabis, or dispensary. So the person who filed the Oprah request didn't even have the courage to put down who it was. So we could just imagine who it was. With that, let's go on to work session. We don't have any work session items. New business.
Yes.
So I have a question to the Republican councilman, because I was getting calls from independents and from various residents throughout the town that 2 letters were sent. One, I don't know what the first one, who the return address was, but the second one was Honorable Russ Talamini. And all the letterhead was Oakland Council, and all the Oakland Council authorizing, supporting voting for Bob Orth, Assemblyman Bob Orth, and Assemblywoman Diane DeFuscio. So the question is, and there was nothing on the envelope or in the letter that stated who paid, and we just want to make sure it wasn't paid by Oakland taxpayers, since it was very political, and that there was no disclaimer. So NJ Elect is looking into this. There was no disclaimer on the letter or in the envelope. So just that's a heads up. And with that, anybody else have new business?
Yes, Mayor, I do.
Yes.
The item I want to bring up is our policy on property maintenance code violations.
Thank you.
There was a property on Ramapo Valley Road owned by a prior or previous employee that should have known about our property maintenance ordinance. And this property went unmaintained for 5-6 weeks, maybe 2 months. We did do the proper notifications, but from what I understand from Mr. Coons, our property maintenance code requires 2 notices to go out to the violator, which in this case, the first one was sent May 5th, and the second one was due by June 8th or 6th, whatever. But it was well over a month, and it looked terrible right on Ramapo Valley Road. So I would like to take another look at the property maintenance ordinance, and instead of giving them, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks to do this, I think we should reduce that down to either 7 to 10 days and be done with it, because it was right on Ramapo Valley Road and made the borough look terrible.
Thank you, Councilman. Brian, is there a requirement that the person has to get 2 notices?
No. Mr. Kuhn sent me an email, which I unfortunately probably did not see, and we did speak about it this week. A couple issues. Is the timing and the number of notices. 1 notice is more than sufficient. Notice should be reasonable. I believe we have a 10-day notice. I would say that, somewhere between 5 and 10 would be reasonable. I think 5 is is not enough. There's not enough time. So I would either suggest eliminate the second notice and leave it at 10, or eliminate the second notice and maybe provide for 7-day compliance. But those are
also, if they don't comply, we can send our DPW in and put a lien on the property.
That's my understanding. The way.
But they have to go to court first. Don't they have to get a court notice?
No. So Mayor, what we do is, if it's a vacant property, okay, and there's no response to the notices of violation, We'll have DPW give an estimate. There's a process set forth in the code for approving having DPW go out and do the cleanups. So we will do that where possible. If it is an owner-occupied structure, we can't go on there and do that cleanup. So in that case, then if there's no action after the notice of violation, then that homeowner or property owner gets a summons, and then it goes into the court system.
Do you know how long it took the property? I live on a cul-de-sac and I have to turn off onto a road. That property, and you know which property I'm talking about, on Andrew Avenue, where the grass was a yard high. The fences were falling. There's holes in the ground. It's danger to the kids that go around there. There's a pool in the backyard. It's a vacant house. It took forever to get the borough to do something. Did Smiley's house get cleaned up?
They clean up today.
They cleaned it up today.
And
What about the property with the trucks?
That's a whole separate issue. There's nothing really there for.
I don't know. We need someone to go out there and go out there and check these properties.
We waited. I made a complaint at a council meeting 4 weeks ago about the property on Rampo Valley Road, and 4 weeks later, it was just on today. That's way too long to let the downtown area. That's part of downtown. The main thoroughfare in town is the downtown area. I saw that grass, and I drove by it last night. It had to be 14, 16 inches high.
I think it's a little bit more. And what about the people that live next to them? How do you think they're feeling? Plus, what about look how long it took
neighbors, right?
For the flags at Pizza Hut to come down.
Well, that's
the Pizza Hut.
John, the grass was so high, the DPW made a bale of hay for it.
I believe it. And if you remember, John Yakimic, myself, Bob Knapp, and the borough administrator walked downtown on September 17th, because I still have the pictures from that day. And we noticed the pollution of signs at several businesses, including that one, which had 12, 13-foot flags that flurried in the wind. So it was like a pollution thing. And at last count, a week and a half ago, I counted, including the flags, there were 12 signs in front of the business. And 5 of the signs are on buildings that aren't theirs. And they're still there. Those 4 signs on one building, on the liquor store building, and there's one sign on the men's hair shop. There's a sign for the Pizza Hut over there as well. I can't understand why it takes so long to get them noticed and to get the signs removed.
Can I ask a question?
Cut grass,
whose committee is supposed to work with our property maintenance and zoning officer?
Can I interject a little bit?
Please.
So when it comes to, we're required, of course, to follow the code, which is, I think, why Pat brought up the issue of, hey, is there something we can do there about the code provisions? And Brian and I have had a conversation about, okay, is there some sort of underlying statutory provision that requires a certain number of notices, or can we streamline this? What I'm hearing very clearly from everybody is that you'd like to see a shorter time frame, and I think that that's certainly reasonable too, because you're right. To follow the provisions that are currently in the code, it takes a long time for us to be able to get out there to remediate.
But we'd like to see enforcement. Okay. We'd like to see our property maintenance guy out there. Our zoning officer.
Our property maintenance efforts right now and the number of inspections that are getting done are much more than they have been in the past. All right. But again, when you have vacant properties that aren't maintained and it takes a long time to get out there and clean it up, you notice it, and you notice it continually, especially when you have repeat violators. Okay. If it's owner occupied, the recourse we have is the courts, and that can take a very long time as well, as you know. So what I'm hearing, everybody, is that everybody's in favor of streamlining this process, shortening the timeframes for notice, and, enabling us to get out there quicker to address these situations. So if you don't mind, what we'll do then is at the next council meeting, we'll have an ordinance on for introduction that'll accomplish that.
Can I just ask a question?
Talk to our zoning officer or our property maintenance and see, does he need help? Is he not? I mean, can he?
Maybe he needs help.
Can I just ask a quick question? Mr. Coons, is it part of the property maintenance officer's job? Does he actually take a drive around the town once a week to at least document these properties, or do they just get called in by residents? I mean, how's the workflow work on this?
Yeah, so this time of year especially, it's very much complaint based, right? Because this is the time everything's growing and you're seeing it, and there's enough work there just dealing with that. Otherwise, we do try to be as proactive as we can to go out and see what we see. And the property maintenance officer, especially last fall, started finding some things and was following up on his own with that. In terms of the number of hours that he works, I have had a conversation with the construction official about doing some flex hour arrangements to be able to surge some more hours during the growing season as well. When we have an admin committee meeting, this falls under admin, we can certainly, talk about that in more depth, about the amount of resources that we have available for property maintenance.
Just that begs another question. Is there any way, does the DPW work in certain regions where they could be responsible for just being eyes on the street to be, does it go into a CAD system or someplace where it gets into a master list that then the zoning officer can go out? Is there a more efficient way we can do this?
We utilize the SDL program for tracking property maintenance complaints and following up on that. That's run out of code enforcement. Certainly anybody, whether it's police or DPW, can report it to code enforcement, and then the inspector goes out and follows up on that.
Okay, so if a resident goes to the website for the DPW, will have a service request, and they put in to make somebody aware of a vacant property that the grass has grown, does that get, where does that go, and does that go back to the code enforcement?
So residents can send an email to myself, to my office, to code enforcement directly, through the service request module on the website, and that will find its way to code enforcement to get addressed.
Thank you.
So we have to follow up on this because it's not good. Any old business.
Yeah, one more thing on a new business.
Yeah.
Mr. Coons and I did talk about this earlier today. I did get an email from a resident about a dead deer carcass that had been lying in the road on 202 for about 4 days because the county seems to be very derelict in picking these carcasses up. Is there anything we can do to send a note to the county to be more proactive to pick these up on a county road so we're not put in a position where we have these carcasses on the side of the road for multiple days, Mr. Coons?
We can follow up because it took them, I guess, 6-7 days from the time it was first reported to them.
I mean that's disgusting down in the center of town underneath the overpass. I mean that's completely unacceptable.
And the odor, repugnant. The odor.
What's that?
So the odor was repugnant.
Oh, it's unacceptable. It should have been picked up in 24 hours. I mean, is there a way we can pick it up and just charge the county for it going forward?
There's no mechanism right now for back charging the county for something like that. But that's something also we can have a conversation about. They want to, devolve that responsibility to us, and we enter into some sort of shared service agreement for it.
Yeah, because we can't have dead carcasses out there for 5
What about
7
animal
days.
control?
I'm sorry, Mayor?
What about animal control?
Our animal control is not responsible for picking up dead animals on county roads. That's the county's jurisdiction. So we call the Bergen County Health Department. They have an animal control division that is called out.
There was a dead deer. There was a dead deer on Andrew Avenue about 2 summers ago. And it was just lying in the street, all bloody. And I was only afraid that children would see it. So by the time we called, a bear lifted up the deer and took the deer into the woods. Well, Lisa got rid of the deer, but we had the bear and we had the deer.
Don't forget, when you get into something like disposal of carcasses like that, where do you take it? You either have to have a service that picks it up, or you have to have a freezer that you put the carcass in, because you have to have a place to dispose of it. You could pick it up, but then what do you do with it? So that's why the county, they do it. They have a service, and they have a freezer. They put the carcass in until the service comes and picks up or empties the freezer. So you got to be aware of that also.
It has to be done in 24 hours. I mean, 7 days is unacceptable.
Was the problem that it happened over the weekend? Is that an issue? Or, I mean, if something happens on the weekend,
Which
I mean,
problem? There's a lot of problems over the
the
weekend.
deer not being picked up in a timely
Oh.
fashion.
I believe they have somebody on call for the weekend, but I can verify that.
Okay.
Please. All right. Any other new business? Old business?
I have some old business.
Go ahead.
I just want to bring up that the planning board meeting this week will have the ordinance they're going to be looking at for plenary distilleries, limited distilleries, craft distilleries, wineries, brew pubs, and limited breweries. So I'm hopefully that goes well. I'm excited about that. And it's been something we've been talking about a long time. Also want to bring up at the last meeting I mentioned, and there's no resolution today that we were going to we put together some language that Brian had taken down related to masking kids at camp over the summer. And I don't know if that's something we still need to discuss, that we seemed unanimously against outdoor masking of children. So I did see some of the state rules, but it seems like that's still the case. And I was hoping we would see it tonight. It wasn't on there, but maybe for next meeting, unless things change, since they're constantly changing.
Every week it changes.
I think it changes every day.
Yeah.
Well, things
really
here change every hour.
Mayor, we are hearing, Grant, that there will be an executive order and revisions to the summer camp guidelines, specifically regarding the masking requirements. We were hoping to actually see them today, but I didn't see anything come out before I had to come home. So there is supposed to be something imminent on that that's going to relax those requirements.
I mean, yeah, go ahead, Eric.
I agree with Councilman Van Eck. Let's get one drafted and ready. And if the governor changes it, that's fine. Otherwise, let's vote
rush
on be done
right
with
into that too. I think we should rush into that also. Any other business?
Yes, I think it's more appropriate to give the Patriots Way Bridge update under old business, maybe instead of the DPW report, because it's really something that it's
John
a bigger.
John has a report.
Yeah.
You want to wait for his report, or you want it under old business?
What do you think is more appropriate? I was thinking maybe under old business because
I think old business.
Yeah, that makes
What do you
sense.
think?
John?
Okay, so
I think it's a subject matter that we should all discuss, and appropriately right now. That's a great time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I see things happening with the proposal to put the bridge up, and things are changing on a daily basis.
Right.
So
Everybody get a report from John Yakimic.
So the first thing I want to say before I ask John to talk is the bridge remains safe for vehicular and pedestrian travel. So with that, John, could you please give your report?
yes, thank you. Yes, the bridge remains safe for pedestrian and vehicular traffic. We are on schedule with the items that we've presented to the mayor and council at the last meeting. Specifically, the next steps would be to get Bergen County Soil Conservation District approval at the end of June. They are backed up, but we've put that into the schedule to consider that. And we will be sending our packages to the DOT and Bergen County for their review and comment by the beginning of July, just before the 4th of July, July 2nd. I checked with my departments. They're on schedule for that. We expect to receive approval and comments from the DOT and Bergen County on at the end of August. And we're looking to authorize bidding in September. That remains on schedule to advertise for bids in September, receive bids in October, award project in November, and pre-construction meeting in December with a start right after the new year. And when I say start, that's not construction start, but that's the start of the mobilization and all the things for the contractors to get ready. We're still looking at that 10-month period to construct the bridge, which should be done by November of 2022. So that remains on schedule. With regard to the cost estimate, because I know that was another item we were tracking, steel prices. The steel price for the permanent bridge actually came down from 1.3 million to 1.2 million to furnish it. The price for the temporary utility structure went up a bit.
Wait a minute. John Bialy had a question about.
Yeah, John, and this goes back to when I do a project. I've done 6 major projects in the last 5 years. And every time there is a need for a utility company to make a change, move a pole, change a pole, add a pole, anything that has to do with the project doesn't pay for that. The utility pays for that. And I'm wondering why we're paying to move the utilities lines. Why haven't they been asked to move their lines just because of a project that's going to help them retain customers on the other side of the bridge?
Very good question. The mayor asked me that question today. I talked to our design team about that. Technically, I don't want to get into semantics, but the utilities are not moving except for the water main, which is ours. It belongs to the borough. The gas, electric, and telecommunications are going to remain where they are. However, we're paying for a temporary support structure to support them. So this is a very unique situation. The utilities are not being relocated. We went with this option because it saves time and it doesn't rely upon the time to deal with utilities and their schedules. But at the same time, your point is well taken that they should bear some of the cost for this because it does carry their utilities. So we're reaching out to the utility companies to ask that question, and we will have a report back to the mayor and council.
But you know what? This has been going on for years about the bill, about the bridge. Why now? Because I asked you earlier today.
Well, like I said, Mayor, this is a very unique. We got the utilities involved with the project early on. We sent them the plans. We showed them what we were going to do, and they were silent with regard to any cost sharing. So we have to put their feet to the fire, and we have to get an answer from them on why they're not paying for anything.
If I were them, I would have remained silent too.
Well, we're not pestering them. We're not bothering them.
Well, we'll be pestering them. Yes.
If Mr. Ukemic doesn't have any luck with them, can we call one of their external affairs managers to attend a council meeting and explain their position?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I suggested. That external affairs, that's the level that we should be talking to with regard to this issue.
I agree with council.
You know, it's just that I don't understand why now it's being brought up when you knew that other places, other towns have gotten some funding from utility companies. Well, we're beating a dead horse at this point, and I heard a dog. So any other old business? Council committee report. So John Bialy, you might as well continue.
Thank you, Mayor. Water and sewer. I checked in with Anthony and on water and sewer, and he has some disturbing news that he's been telling me for the last couple of weeks. And I know we're going to have a water and sewer meeting soon, but the fact that there are on routine failures at very critical locations. Water Quality Accountability Act was reported to the state 2 years ago that we developed an annual water main improvement plan, and to date we have not completed any of the improvements. And over the past several years, any water main break that has been changed was a result of a total main failure. I think there's a need to start on the long list of improvements that were discussed. Little problems become big problems, and I believe the money is already there, and Boswell has given several proposals, but we're still waiting for approvals. So I'm wondering where we are with that. I'd hate to see the main pumps that filling our towers go out and not have water be able to be distributed through the town. So we need to take a good look at that and I'm sure it'll be on the agenda at the water and sewer meeting coming up, I believe on the 22nd, Rich. Is that when it is?
That's it. Yep.
Okay.
John will be on. And just to refresh your memory too, we have a capital ordinance on for the next council meeting that would fund a number of those initiatives, including the Iroquois pump station, about $750,000 or $800,000 for water main replacement as well.
And accordingly, with the Rampo Valley Road sidewalk project, we're still working on the easements, and one resident is holding out. He wants the easement to be cut back a bit. And John, does that look like it's possible?
I was going to cover that in my DPW report, John.
What's that?
The sidewalk project.
I
dropped off. I'm sorry, I had a technical problem. I dropped off. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I dropped off and came back.
That's
So
why
I lost a couple of minutes. And yeah, I tried to do it on my phone.
Grant, I would respectfully request that you have me handle the sidewalk project, since I've been on it since 2004. I've shepherded it through. I introduced it. I shepherded it through 2004, 2005, and I picked it up again in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I would like to see this to the end. We're at that point in time where a shovel is going to be put in the ground. I'd like to continue to maintain the project under my reports, if that's okay with you.
I mean, it's okay with me, but I'd like to be kept in the loop too.
You're kept in the loop at all times. Okay.
And answer to your question, Councilman Biala, yes.
Yeah.
That's possible. Yes.
Yeah, it can be done?
Yes.
Okay. And Brian, we're okay with the easements being sent out already?
We've sent out 5 out of the 6.
Okay. Anything back yet?
No, they just went out the end of last week.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that, and thank you so much. The Skyview Hillbrook sewer lining project, the Boswell is going to be notifying the property owners of the start of the project within a week, and the several properties which have manhole encumbrances on them, they'll be spoken to directly, and an explanation of how the project will continue forward with those encumbrances in the way. The borough attorney has provided the right of entry from Form to Boswell, and Boswell is going to be preparing the notices. Decommissioning of the 3 wastewater treatment plants. I think we're all doing the same thing. It's a wait and see with the iBank. We've produced everything they need, and all we're waiting for is the blessing for us to move forward, so we can go out to bid. And John, is there any way we could move that, or Rich, anything we can do, or have we done everything possible to make that project move forward?
We regularly follow up with the iBank. I have David send them regular updates asking where they're at. It's really just trying to push them along at this point.
And Giselle as well from our office, council.
Really? And is there a point person that we contact? So it's like, it's not going in the wind, you know? We don't call up and leave it in a general mailbox.
No. There's the reviewer that needs to give the approval. That's who we're in contact with.
Very good. I appreciate that. And we went out of our way to make sure that the Allied Sign is going to be working on the digital sign project ASAP. I was in touch with the company, and I spoke to the project manager, and she will be making sure and possibly get the footings in within the next couple of weeks. That's my report. I appreciate it. Thank you.
John, can I just ask a quick question? Are they going to pave 202? Is the county doing that this year?
They're doing it. We don't know exactly when.
The reason I asked the question, John, is if they're going to put that force main in from the plant down here downtown, would it make sense to coordinate this so they don't pave the road and then we got to dig it up again? And I'm just, you know where I'm going with this?
Eric, that makes really a lot of sense, which makes no sense to making that happen.
Yeah,
Mr. Yukimik?
Councilman Bialy, if I can, and Councilman Kamala, we have yet to see a couple of meetings ago, we passed the agreement on the sidewalk ramps that the county needs to do. So that has to get done first before the road could get paved. So we've sent all of our documents to the county, all of our designs. So once we see a contractor on board, that's the first sign of the road getting ready to be paved. So as we know in life, timing is everything. If we get the go ahead to go to decommissioning, we get a contractor on board, we would certainly have the contractor install that pipe as soon as possible so that we won't be ripping up 202 after they pave it. But for right now, I would say the timing is okay, that it will work. Because like I said, we haven't seen the sidewalk ramps getting done yet. And we don't know when that's going to happen.
John, you said the design work is done.
Yes.
I hope the design work for that sewer grate.
I have that in my note. I have that. Well, we don't design that, but I will personally be standing out there when they get to that to tell them to raise it at the that's by Staples. Yep, at Staples, correct?
That's the one.
Yeah, Pat just froze. I have it. It's on the tip of my nose, Councilman.
Thank you. Because if it's not done, you're the first person I'm coming to, John.
All right.
Yes.
John Bialy, are you finished?
Yes, I am, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, so we'll keep with Councilman Van Ack since it's the same committee.
Is it because I dropped off? Is it we doing committee reports now?
You're up. You're up.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. DPW is just going to talk about the Ramapo Valley Road Walkway project, but John and I will offline. We'll work out what our responsibilities are. Shade Tree Commission is still looking for 2 new members. We had a great meeting on Monday night. We're moving forward with the legacy tree mapping. This is really important so we never run into a situation where the town is taking out a really historic legacy tree. That tree was destroyed for the LED sign in Veterans Park, which I've expressed many times, I think has no business being there. But the purpose of the mapping of the legacy trees, so everybody gets on the same page. We know where all our historic legacy trees are in town, and we can avoid situations like that in the future. I'm also asking for a select group to come together to review the existing ordinance and the proposed ordinance that Peter Keecock presented a few meetings back. And I think it's important that we do a detailed review of our existing ordinance and give some feedback to the Shade Tree Commission. And we had a little bit of a discussion, but I'll get some more details and we'll hopefully have something to present to the council at a future meeting. The Recreation Commission had a amazing Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Saturday morning at our rec complex. It was a very powerful, and I know I was overwhelmed with emotion. I know a lot of other people must have been too. It was hard not to be when we officially named a field in honor of Gary Walker, forever memorializing his name in Oakland and our rec complex. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning. So congratulations to the families and all of our Hall of Fame inductees. It was really an incredible morning for everybody here in Oakland. At our next meeting, which will be in person, we have our championship junior division.
Oh,
You losing me?
I'm losing you.
Everybody else hear me?
No, I hear you.
I hear
We can hear you.
Okay. At our next meeting in person, which will be in person, our championship junior division Oakland Braves roller hockey team will be recognized by the town. I'm very excited for that. So hopefully the word's getting out to our players and their families and the coaches regarding that honoring. Our soccer, football, cheer, and summer sports clinics are open. OaklandRec.org. That's OaklandRec.org. The Oakland Communications Commission, the Indian Hills Click Clack front and back team aimed at increasing public awareness that seatbelts should be used in the front and back seat, should created some PSAs, and you should check them out because they're awesome. and they're running. You can see them on Oakland TV, 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. every day. So thanks to the students. It's great when we see our young people producing such quality content and submitting it for broadcast. The Oakland TV Matinee Movie Month is Wasp Woman. It is at 4:30 for the rest of the month, so enjoy that. TV committee and control room engineer have been working hard behind the scenes to go full HD. That's high definition for anyone watching on Verizon. So this is a big initiative. Unfortunately, those watching on Altice Optimum, that's what I have, you have to bear the unwatchable channels 77 terrible quality. They did not accept our request, while Verizon did. So I'm excited. So we'll have some more information. The number of the channel is to be determined. So I will have an announcement on that going forward. So the newsletter, if you haven't seen our newsletter, if you don't subscribe to our newsletter, please do that. It's so good. The past newsletter that just came out had so much content, so many articles. Liz Lorente does an amazing job with it, and I want to thank them because it's really a wonderful thing we have here in town. So if you're interested in writing something, contributing content, reach out to me, vanek at oakland-nj.org. Our next meeting is July 12th at 7:30. I hope everybody has a wonderful Flag Day on Monday. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman, I have to congratulate you. Since you've become the liaison to the Oakland Communications Commission, it has been incredible. You really did a super job. So thank you.
There is no limit to what you can accomplish as long as you don't care who gets the credit. So thank you to all the volunteers and Ryan and our chairman and everybody who does the hard work, our junior members. It's really an awesome group. And again, it's what gives you inspiration when you see such motivated people doing such great things. So thanks, Mayor, for that.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. From the senior citizens, there is still limited space available for the senior citizen barbecue on Tuesday, the 22nd of June, from 11:30 to 2:30. There's a $12 registration fee, which includes a buffet of barbecue favorites and entertainment by the Cuts Band. Please visit the senior center to sign up. As a reminder, the senior center parking lot will be closed for the outdoor event, and guests are asked to park along Lawler Drive and the recreation lot by the tennis courts. The senior center bus will serve as a shuttle from the tennis court parking lot to the senior center for those who can't walk.
And I hear there's a tent. Ariel said they rented a tent.
Yes. Yep, should be a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going not only as liaison, but as a member.
Oh, you're not playing?
No. No. They're on vacation. The
bagpipers?
On vacation.
Oh.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's it?
That's it. Thank you.
Councilman Kamala.
Thank you, Mayor. Very brief report. We had a park committee meeting, Great Oak Park Committee meeting yesterday. Really on the glide slope of completion. The only thing that's really outstanding is the band shell. We're just waiting on a couple grants to come through. We should hopefully know by the end of the month. However, we will be meeting with Mr. Coons next week to just kind of revisit the band shell, make sure everything's ready to go along with the engineer. And I just want to remind everybody of the art sample, which is Friday, June 11th, Saturday, June 12th, and Sunday, June 13th. The categories may include painting, drawing, printmaking, photography, video, film illustration, sculpture, sound sculpture, writing, music, theater, any of the above. So it's going to be a really exciting time down at the library. Hope to see everybody down there. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Councilman Talamini.
You're on mute.
The schools.
You love schools, don't you?
Yeah. Valley Middle School will be graduating on Monday, June 21st at 5:30. It will be an outdoor ceremony. There's a rain date of the 22nd.
Is it in the parking lot?
Yes. Yeah, that's, I don't want, I remember them saying that, but I might be wrong. So don't quote me. and also they'll be doing Safety Town again this year for incoming kindergartners. It's a fun thing for the kindergartners to do. All my kids did it, and my daughter was she worked there the 1 year. Safety Town's a lot of fun. So if you could sign up for that, that's a fun thing to do. And then the high schools are graduating both of them are graduating on June 24th. They will also be outside. Ramapo will be graduating at 4:30 and Indian Hills at 6:30. If there is bad weather, they will move it indoors. That's it for the schools. We had a finance meeting. We went over some of the issues, some of the concerns, the questions of some budget items. I don't know if Councilman Van Eck got in touch with Rich or Dave after our meeting to go over some of his questions, because I know he had to leave early. Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, Russell. Grant and I spoke today. You'll actually be seeing a calendar item for hopefully another finance meeting next week, so we can kind of follow up and do the rest of the capital items that we didn't get to this past week. Okay, and okay, so that's good with that. And then public events. So we're moving forward with the carnival, as far as I know. Rich, are we good with what you've gotten from the committee? It's workable. Yeah, I spoke with Chopper today. I think it's just a matter of touching base with all the rest of the agencies on what the final plan will be, and making sure everybody's on the same page. And I think it's a go. And then the mayor had brought up about the fireworks. It was a tough decision. There were so many restrictions when we're going forward trying to make the plan for the carnival that the fireworks were getting in the way. We wouldn't have had anything if we were going to have the fireworks. So just we enjoy the fireworks just as much as everyone else, and we're just as upset to see them gone this year. But we'll have them again in the future. And it was just one of those decisions that had to be made to make sure that we could have social distancing, and it was enabling us to move the rides and the vendors around in a more socially distant fashion. It was. We were just know we were as disappointed as everyone else. So hopefully we'll have a great carnival this year, and we'll move on to the following year, and it'll be bigger and better, just like everything that public events does. I've never been disappointed by public events. Whatever they get involved in is they do a wonderful job. It's a great group of people, and if you could join the committee, that would be great. Or even if you want to volunteer for the carnival, they will be looking for some help. So you can either reach out to me, or you can reach out to Chopper at the public events, or even Mr. Coons or the borough clerk. So that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Slazinski.
Thank you, Mayor. News from the library. The air conditioning units are being worked on. At times, the library has been getting hot as a result of the heat wave that we've been experiencing. So I've been told to tell everybody that if we are experiencing a hot day and they plan on coming into the library, you might want to call ahead just to see what the conditions are that day. Also, the art sample is this weekend, and folks are encouraged to come in and take a look. Also, the summer reading is kicking off, and the library is having ice cream fun day. The Good Humor ice cream truck will be serving free ice cream at the library. The day is Tuesday, June 29th. Registration and an ice cream voucher is required, so you can't just show up and get free ice cream. And registration for that begins on June 16th. Also, the library is back to operating at normal capacities, and rooms are available for use or rent per its policies. Information about how to use a room can be found on its website.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, 2 items. We didn't get an answer as to who paid for the Republican Council mailing to make sure that the taxpayers didn't pay for it. So I expect to have someone tell us and the taxpayers that they did not pay for it and who paid for it.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I wrote a note down and I didn't. I missed it. But no, it was paid for by Councilman North. Assemblyman North, and I pointed out to him that he didn't have the
He didn't know. I asked him,
and he
I talked to him regularly.
He was under the assumption that because the flyer that was in there had the paid for, it wasn't required on the letter to have the paid for.
Not everybody had a flyer.
The one that I got had a flyer. That's all I could tell you.
Because I do have Republican friends, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I grew up. NJ Elect is aware of all this.
Okay.
And next time you accused me once of using my mayor, and it was the letterhead was the Republican Council and the Honorable Russ Talamini and Council President Kumala and Councilman so-and-so and Councilman so-and-so. So you really have to be careful with NJ Elect.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
I know. The second thing is, before we go into open for the public, the agenda at the last says that the next council meeting is at the council chambers. Before we agree to go into council chambers, I want to make sure that it is okay. So, Mr. Kunz, what provisions do we have in the council chambers?
So essentially, as I pointed out before, the HVAC system's been completely upgraded with the UV disinfection system and increased filtering. And Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we looked at this in the executive orders, the social distancing requirements for those that are vaxxed have gone away. And the masking requirements for those that have been vaccinated have gone away as well. Is that correct?
That is correct.
My understanding it was those who are vaxxed and have the antibodies.
Well,
so if you're not vaxxed and you have the antibodies, you also don't need to social distance.
Grant, you may be right. I know the executive orders themselves just talk about vaccinations.
But even if you have the antibodies,
you saw
naturally
that antibodies, even though you weren't.
Grant, I understand what you're saying. I'm saying the executive orders don't mention that; they just say vaccinated. Brian, do you have any insight into that?
No, the executive order only referenced vaccination.
The whole point of vaccination was antibodies.
People
have antibodies naturally. I don't need the vaccination to have antibodies against COVID-19.
I don't write the executive orders. I have enough trouble understanding them.
They change regularly. So I would like to suggest that for the next meeting, because it's still up in the air, it's the last meeting in June. Can we still do it Zoom and then make sure we know what we're doing for July?
Well, what are we unsure of?
Mask versus no mask, vaccinated versus somebody's not vaccinated. And what about the public that comes in? Do we have to ask them?
You will establish the standards of the facility. So you are an entity under the executive order. The entity can provide for social distancing. The entity could require masks. That's a policy determination to be made.
As far as the county goes, I'm back in the county building. If you're in your office, you don't need a mask. Once you step out of your office or wherever you work, you need a mask to walk the building. So there's nobody's walking around without a mask on in the building. That's part of the protocol for being in the building.
So I don't know how you talk with the mask on. I was on an airplane to visit my grandchildren. I finally got to see them. So they serve soda. That's what they come around and serve you. And I always sit by the window. And the airline attendant came in and I said, "Oh, I'd like a Diet Coke." And she said, "I can't hear you." So I lifted my mask a little bit so that she could hear me. She started screaming at me. "You have to keep the mask on at all times. You can't lift it." So that's an airplane, but that's not council chambers. So I'm just asking, maybe we should do one more Zoom and get everything laid out so there's no problems at all and start in July. What does everybody think?
Can we make a list of what we're going, because I said from the beginning, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but I'm uncomfortable meeting via Zoom. I
agree with you. I don't like to see some faces that people make.
Right.
I agree with you.
But so what are the questions that we have? If we make a list of them.
Except Lisa has to advertise. How much time do you need to advertise?
No, she advertised already in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all out. And
No,
Lisa said last meeting that they change it to be at Zoom. It's still advertised council chamber and it's changed to Zoom. They change it to Zoom.
So we're still advertised as Zoom. Can we just
No, we're advertising. Lisa, no. Lisa, I think you said it last meeting.
I advertise each meeting if we're going to do it Zoom. I re-advertise it for Zoom.
So are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable.
I'm fine.
No, Lisa, not you, Lisa.
Well,
Lisa.
Personally, I'm not, but it's not up to me.
Well, you sit next to me. I'm vaccinated.
Well, I'm vaccinated too. That doesn't mean that I like to sit right on top of each other, but
I will not sit on top of you, I promise.
I'll probably wear a mask. I'm just telling you, I'll probably wear a mask. I'll pull it down so you can hear me for the roll call, but it's probably I'm going to wear a mask.
And that's completely fine.
And I'm in constant contact with my granddaughter, who's 7 months old, and I would hate to have to bring a virus back to her. So I am being extra precautious.
If you're vaccinated, John, you can't
municipal buildings that are not opened.
If you're vaccinated, you can't transmit it.
What am I going to tell the hockey team? I already told them that because based on last meeting.
Oh, they're coming.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
They're coming. Are they wearing masks?
Well, if I can, just on that point about the hockey players coming, Lisa, we have probably close to 15 ordinances next
at
week
least
have public hearings on them.
At least
you're going to have a huge amount of time just getting through your ordinances at the next meeting, whether it's Zoom or whether it's in person.
So maybe we should
on
the hockey team, Grant.
But they were already informed. We talked about it last meeting. Let me tell you.
I know, but I didn't realize when all those ordinances. Couldn't those ordinances be held off?
Well, here's the thing: the kids are going to be going away for the summer and everything else like that. The hockey season's over.
We heard that.
The only other option would be to do it at the kickoff of the next season, which is, I believe, in October.
What about the senior center? Would that make anybody feel better?
I'm comfortable wherever we meet.
I'm sure I can call the commissioner and work with hockey if we have to do it. But again, I'm comfortable meeting in person, but I don't want to make other people uncomfortable too. At the end of the day, I'm still a gentleman.
So it just seems.
You know what? It's also I would prefer one more meeting on Zoom and let's get everything ironed out and get regulated. And I'm
gonna say I hate to go off here, but I mean it kills me. Twice my internet kicked out. I don't know if anybody noticed, maybe the second time you noticed, but earlier in the meeting I got kicked out. I had to jump on my phone. I'm here on my phone. I'm trying to mute it, and then I see my internet kicks back on. I gotta. It's.
Grant, I couldn't get on. My keyboard wasn't working.
Terrible. I also
couldn't get on because of my email passwords had to be changed because those Oprahs I had to spend time doing.
How about the senior center? Is everybody good with that? in person?
I would feel very comfortable at the senior center.
Then let's do that. Bring the hockey team down, and then we'll do the next.
But so now is that possible? You know, television wise and all that.
We could do it via YouTube. I'm not sure if we could get a feed over channel 77. We would need to talk to Ryan.
And is that okay?
We did a couple of times at the senior center.
We did.
So Brian, is that okay if we were to have the meeting at the senior center, even if we don't have, you know, the capability to broadcast it?
You don't have to broadcast the meeting. It's not a requirement.
So we lost the mayor, it looks like.
She turned very white. I think
It looks
No,
like
I'm here.
Oh,
okay.
I just signed. I have to sign something for somebody.
And you know, we'll check that out. Obviously, we can record it on a cell phone. We can broadcast it via YouTube. Just that linkage there between that and the studio and that broadcast is what we would need to try and work out.
I would rather just get back to council chambers. I think we discussed that last meeting. I don't know why we're going back to the drawing board.
Same here.
I would honestly, I would rather, if it has to be one more meeting, I'd rather wait more and just go back to council chambers. I just don't think the whole senior center thing, everything we talked about. I mean, we vetted this out last meeting that the senior center wasn't ideal.
For the television stuff,
right? For the whole process, for the whole thing,
right?
And less members of the public could be in there. That was the big thing, is about members of the public being able to attend.
So we just put it to a vote.
I feel bad forcing someone to meet. So I don't, you know, if it makes people more comfortable, we meet at the senior center for the next meeting. And then maybe, you know, we won't be broadcasting it. So then if we're having these hockey players there, then it's not really, you know, people can't see it. But at least,
Rich, what is the mask protocol for employees right now?
All right, so there are a couple of different protocols that we have in place. For employees, it's if you are vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. If you are not vaccinated, you still need to wear a mask under the same conditions that you were before, right? If you're in your own office, you don't need to, but you get up, you go in the hallway, you have to mask up. You're in a common area, you have to mask up. For the public, you know, they are encouraged that if you're not vaccinated, you should still be wearing a mask coming into our facilities. But it is on the honor system, not having my employees check or ask anybody if they're vaccinated or not. That's, you know, what we've set up that we think is probably most workable. And for individual programs, let's say at the senior center or the library, it's really kind of those department heads and library directors and whatnot can use their discretion based on the specifics of that particular program as to whether or not they'll actually, you know, check vaccination status or not. Okay. So that's how we're doing it in accordance with the executive order.
How much time do you advertise the meeting, Lisa?
The executive order making no sense because antibodies is the thing, not the vaccine. Why should it matter if you have a vaccine or not? It should matter if you have the antibodies or not.
Not disagreeing with you again. You know, echoing what Brian said. We're not writing these EOs. We're just trying to do our best, trying to figure out how to implement them at the local level.
I think someone mentioned that, and I mean, I don't have anyone coming for the ceremony, but you know, people want to be seen on TV. They want their family members to be able to see grandparents or aunts and uncles who can't come here. And that's the point of having it televised, is that these children have their moment of fame on TV, and their entire family, whether they're there or not, can see them.
It's a big deal. You're right, Councilman Pignatelli. It's a big deal for them.
So what does everybody want to do?
I would prefer to have the next council meeting in council chambers so that the hockey team can be provided all the benefits of being on TV.
So we'll do it in the council chambers. So we're gonna have to spread out somehow.
How are you going to do that, Rich?
Spread out what? Council or the public?
Everybody.
Everybody.
We don't have to be.
We're not
Listen,
required.
you're on the dais. There is no spreading out. You're on the dais.
Right.
That's it. There's no other.
I was at Portobello's at the Mother's Day Mother's Club fundraiser. We were sitting at tables with people, tables of 12, right next to each other. Everybody walking around. Nobody with a mask. Nobody, everybody was having a good time, living their lives like they should.
Until somebody gets COVID. Somebody gets COVID.
And somebody gets the flu, or somebody gets the chicken pox, or somebody gets. It happens. That's life. That I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life sitting in front of an iPad with the camera doing meetings. This is getting ridiculous.
They had on the news.
Good thing you're not an attorney, Russ. You know what it's like to have court on Zoom?
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous.
New Jersey has a 72% vaccination rate. And we have heard many, many times, once you reach 70%, you're at herd immunity. They haven't said we're at herd immunity, but they have said 72% of New Jersey residents have been vaccinated.
Is that overall or just those?
No. I think what they said,
that's not overall.
They've had at least one shot.
They didn't say that. They just said vaccinated. Whether it's one or two, I don't know. But again, once you receive the vaccine, you can't transmit the disease. That's what I've been told by nurses. You can't transmit.
Well, I don't take my advice from a nurse.
Okay.
I want to hear from the professionals that are involved in the virus control center.
Well,
like Fauci?
Okay.
I'm following the rules that the governor has set. I mean, I could walk around Home Depot. I could walk around the DMV. I could walk. My kids could go to school without wearing a mask. I understand that people are nervous, but again, we have to be leaders. We have to show that we can move forward as a society.
If anybody on the council wants to wear a mask, they certainly can.
If we didn't do it next meeting, that would push us out to July 14th. That's a way out. That's a ways out.
Let's honor the kids properly.
Well, look, even the kids, if like Grant said, if it had to move to October, it would move to October. It would.
I would contact the commissioner and work it out. And with anything in life, there's always going to be people who can and can't make any occasion or event based on their own personal schedules. We all know that. There's stuff that every one of us here has missed or unfortunately because they had some travel or work or some other commitment, whether it's a council meeting or some occasion you wanted to go to. I mean, it's impossible to accommodate everyone all the time. So if we moved it, I mean, what are you going to do?
So, if it would make people comfortable, I would be fine doing one more Zoom meeting and then move forward. But we have to move forward. And if it's not if we have to meet on the rec field, then let's meet on the rec field in person. I mean, we were all at the Hall of Fame induction, sitting next to each other without our masks. We were all there.
But it was outside. But look, and look.
But so if we have to have council meetings outside, let's have the council meetings outside. We have to meet together in public, in person.
But John, if we have the next meeting in Zoom, would you feel comfortable in July meeting in person?
July 14th
no
would be
problem
the meeting
meeting in
after.
person, as long as we all take proper steps to stay safe and healthy. I have no problem.
But we're
Is
not going to
Mayor
move.
talking to us, or is
Well,
I'm yelling and I'm on mute. Now I'm
How about you, Lisa? I mean,
All
because
right.
you
Richard,
expressed what you
you
expressed.
said we're going to have a lot of ordinances to discuss at the next meeting.
Yeah, you're going to have what, the 9 affordable housing, the 4 that we just introduced tonight,
5 tonight.
5 tonight, the 9 affordable housing, missing.
There were a couple other ones we introduced last meeting too that are on besides the affordable housing. I think there were like 12 that we introduced last meeting.
All right, so Grant,
Tonight.
do you think that the hockey team would be okay? You said in September, October?
I will make the request that it's moved to kick off their season. So what we will do is we will plan a kickoff to the new Oakland Braves roller hockey season to honor the prior year champions.
That sounds wonderful.
And let's make it big. But okay, so I'm just, you can't predict the future, right? But here's who's to say some variant, some new thing comes around and everything's going to shut down. I'm praying to God every day this doesn't happen anymore. It's really over. Because I remember things got a lot better over the summer last year. I'm praying no variant comes around. But who knows? You know, I mean, this is what I mean. If anybody's ever read C.S. Lewis's essay called Living in an Atomic Age, do me a favor, read C.S. Lewis' essay, Living in an Atomic Age, because that's my perspective on how everything goes forward.
So
They're very much like Russell telling me.
All right, so let's say we do what Grant is saying about kicking off the is that the right word? Kicking off the hockey season and honoring the champions. Okay, so if we do that in September, October, you pick the date. Let's have one more Zoom for the end of June. We start in July. By July, Richard will have us all, everybody visit the council chambers. And actually, it would be good if we do Zoom next week because you got the carnival. It'll be a mess down there. It'll be noisy, a lot of people, hopefully. So let's do one more Zoom. This is my suggestion. One more Zoom meeting. That's it. That's our last Zoom meeting, June. We start off July on a happy note in the summer. Everybody go look at the oh, you didn't do anything downstairs, did you? In council chambers. Richard.
Well, I'm sorry, what do you mean?
Less or anything?
The ventilation system.
No, but there's no plexiglass or anything like that, no.
Okay. So by then, if you're not comfortable sitting next to somebody, we'll spread out. We'll figure out a way. If we have to move the tables below the dais so that we're spread out, we'll do it. We'll work it out. So does everybody agree? One more Zoom, especially if we're going to have all those ordinances that we have to vote on next time. And then from then forward, we go in person. How does everybody agree?
I'm fine with that, Linda, and really, like I said, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, but we do have to move forward. So
I can't. My eyes. I got the eye doctor. My eyes are killing me.
Right. So we just have.
I'm tired of saying unmute yourself all the time.
Right. So please, if we could have this all ironed out at the next Zoom meeting, right. that you know. And if anyone has concerns, maybe reach out to Rich and say, this is my concern. And then maybe we could do something, but,
thank you.
Yeah. I because whatever to say it again, but I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable, but
we heard you right.
Yeah.
Okay, so next meeting will be Zoom. That is it. Last Zoom meeting. From then on, we're in person starting in July. Okay, with that, open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
If you wish to provide public comment, click the raise your hand icon or *9 on a mobile phone. Mayor, I see no one further.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, rolls. No, bills. No, it's roll calls. Bills to be paid.
Bills to be paid. $231,636.19. So moved.
Second.
And I assume everybody read the bills to be paid list before you vote.
Yes,
Roll
ma'am.
call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Pat,
Steve Frozen.
I love Zoom.
one more. Pat, are you there?
I'm here. I lost my feed.
All right, just say
I
yes.
vote yes. Yes.
Okay. Next.
Councilman Slasinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next council meeting, June 23rd, is the very last Zoom meeting. Then we're going in person, starting in July. Thank you all. Good night.
Fingers crossed. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Happy Flag Day.